Up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it bluff. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. They know that we're calling it bluff. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it bluff. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it bluff. Hey.
Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding a voice and control.
What is going on, Hive? Good morning. I hope everybody's got a fun, long Labor Day weekend planned. I feel like I was just talking to you guys. It's kind of fun to go back to back right away from the 7 p.m. Central streams right away to the morning streams. And if this is your first time in the Hive, or if this is your first time ever learning about the Hive and you're watching this on replay, welcome. This is a contrarian thinking live stream where we are not afraid to question or think past the headlines. So if you are offended or rattled on behalf of others, this is probably not going to be the stream for you. However, if you like to look into why the narrative is pushing, or why the mainstream media rather is pushing a certain narrative, what's the bigger picture? What's the behind the scenes goal? Maybe you're known as a conspiracy friend in your friend group. Well, you have found your people, and welcome. I have a pretty good idea about this sheath. And I think a lot of people are starting to wake up to it as well. The theme that I have on screen here with, does the knife sheath exist is self-explanatory. But then at the bottom, I don't know if you guys heard in the intro song, where it talks about a new generation and good things are going to come out of creation, rather. And now we control the airwaves. And when I heard that, I'm like, that is a perfect intro line, because I don't know about you all. Garbage all over the news, all over the radio, all over whatever streaming platform you use, the narratives that are pushed, all of the big top 1% companies seem to just be in lockstep. And it's like there's a timeline that they follow. There's a spreadsheet that they all get each week. It's like, we're going to push this week, all of us in unison. And I hate that shit. So when we talk about this Idaho 4 case, and are we going to keep talking about it? What are you going to do if he pleads, or if he appeals, or if he doesn't appeal? This case has become a vehicle for all of the rot. And there's a lot of it. There's a lot of rot that this case has exposed. It's woken up a lot of people in the true crime niche type communities. Not that there were folks in here that didn't understand police corruption, but this case needs to be a case study on narrative manipulation and brainwashing, because it's out of control. And I'll say what's up to everybody, and then I could rant all day about this shit. So what's going on, Stoogie? Yes, you do belong. Welcome. What's going on, Nicola? UFO dog. It's pretty early to be creeping in the basement, but UK Karen's tuning in. What time is it in the UK? Kim, good morning. It's afternoon for Debbie over in London. Cheerio. Crowned, good morning. How are you doing? Barber Cat's tuning in from Michigan. Care Bear, good to see you. Court, I'm glad you caught alive. Blue Rain 60. What up? Shout out to my mod, Luna Bliss. Sheila, how are you doing? Good to see you, Heather Lee. One habit, wake and bake, and a good show. Love it. I love it. Melissa, I'm glad you're here as well. Discord Dawn, what's going on? Lisa's in Oklahoma. I almost said Oklahoma like I say West Virginia. Whoops. Zach says it's too early for me. That's all right. UFO dog, how are you doing? Becky, Gabby, Ricky, good to see you. Tinfoil Hat Claire, Deborah. I love it, man. I love it. Good. You got a long weekend ahead of you. Sit back, relax. Ms. Birdie just got back from a long run before a great Labor Day weekend. We were supposed to be going up north with my mother, but unfortunately my grandma fell, and she so now my mom's not able to make it. So if you guys could say a prayer for Grandma Birdie. So she's in the hospital. Good morning, Gianna. What's up, JoJo? How are you doing? Hey, Birdie Bird. War Eagle. Yeah, I appreciate that, UFO dog. All right. So what I was going to say right before I started saying what's up to everybody, and why I didn't want to get just off on a tangent and distracted, is because I do want to stick to this theme, this knife sheath, but it ties into a larger point that I really want people to understand. And I'm not sure if, you all listening to this will give you the confidence to feel like you can maybe clap back or say something back with your chest a little bit, and understand that you and everybody in here, or myself and you and everybody in here, has looked into this case a lot, way more than the average person. Almost, I would argue, on a psychotic level, an obsession, which is okay, because it's not just about the crime. It's probably more so a common denominator that we all feel, not just that applies to this crime, but to everything with the narrative, with the news, with the talking points, with how people just parrot it back. And it drives us crazy, is what I would guess a lot of us have in common. Now, if people are in your comments or if your friends or your family over the weekend, they're like, you're crazy, he's so guilty, he's this, start asking them simple questions. Or if they say things, it's just be like, so you must not have, what you should say is, so you must not have listened to any of the actual hearing. You must not have read the new reports. You must not have actually listened to the prosecutor's post-sentencing press conference, because I've never seen anything like this. The prosecutors sound more like us now. But the people who haven't done anything but follow the narrative, those are the same people that tell you, you're just doing this for clicks. You're just doing this for content. You're just doing this. And they're not even staying up with the case. It's hilarious. It is hilarious. The people that will call you out for grifting or victim shaming or victim blaming don't even stay up to date with the case. It's quite remarkable, honestly. And it's rather satisfying to see. It's not even worth calling them out for it, but it's like, what do you mean? His phone ping. I've seen some shit where it's like, so I'll talk about the DNA. And I told the story Ali Benevento did, as I said the other day on stream. And people would be like, yeah, what are you talking about, though? They found his jumpsuit. His phone puts him in the house. He stalked them 23 times. Like, it's just, it doesn't matter what you say to somebody anymore. And this is what I'm saying. We can't focus on that. We can't focus on changing people's minds who don't want to be changed, because it's not going to matter what we say. They're not, if you can't believe it from the prosecutor's mouth themselves and the investigators themselves, it's crazy. So I just wanted to start with that. And when I say we control the airwaves, like, the Hive we can honestly wake a lot of people up if we haven't already. I think the approach that we all take is phenomenal. Open minds, unless you're trolling, unless you're threatening or just spamming, everybody hears each other out. There's probably stuff that I say that you guys think is stupid. Just like probably some of the comments that come in, I see it, I'm like, oh, well, maybe. But that's okay. That's okay. And we've uncovered a lot of stuff. And the other thing, too, is there's no need to be selfish at this point for breaking something, which I think we in the Hive have done a really good job. We have no problem shouting out and giving credit where credit is due to other great creators, great articles, things like that. There's power in that. We have to come together if we are going to make a difference in a narrative. It's like Star Wars, where actually it's not even like Star Wars. I don't even know how to explain it. That doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to think. It's like we're fighting with rocks and sticks against the U.S. government with F-16s. Is essentially how I'd put it when it comes to us fighting the narrative. We have to be aligned. Exactly. Last night was a great example, which if you missed the stream last night, typically I would be editing and finishing up editing the quick cut of that stream right now, but obviously I'm live. So I will have that live posted this afternoon. So if you missed that, you're not going to want to miss it. Sammy T was on fire last night. I would say that was probably Sammy's best stream she's ever had in the Hive. And I called her after we finished up and told her that she did great. So let's get into it. As a reminder, I now have a Facebook page and an Instagram. So we have a website that you can get some merch on. We have my TikTok. We have Discord. We have Substack, Facebook, and Instagram. Please go and like the Facebook page and follow the Instagram pages. Those are brand new. I think that those, along with TikTok, are very easy to send to your friends or pass something along. It's also very easy to get stuff to me. But the way that I want to prioritize, and the reason why I always talk about the Discord, that's from now on, that's where I'm pulling Hive Mind finds from. And I've been pulling the question of the day from. So if you're not in the Discord, join the Discord. And the benefit to that over sending me an email, outside of me having to give my email and ideally never getting hacked again, is that I would miss emails. When when I was hacked, there was like 2,400 emails that had to do with people from the Hive. I couldn't possibly get back to all of them with all the video links and that. But what the benefit of the Discord is that when you guys post it in there, everybody sees it. And it's always popping off. There's great discussion. The same rules that apply in this chat apply in that chat. Dawn and Ray and Luna and UFO Dog and everybody else that's been helping out with the Discord. You guys are crushing it. Robin is handling the Facebook and the Instagram. So if you guys have questions on that, those are also people you can reach out to. And then I've been plugging the updated merch that I had, the MSNPC shirts. People are loving the tinfoil hats. We've had a ton of orders on the pink tinfoil hats. So I'm glad I finally got those up. And the best way to support the stream, as I've said, this merch is not to make money. That's like not what I'm doing. I just think it's cool to have funny shit like MSNPC, tinfoil hats. You know, I got a Hive Mind shirt, Hive Mind sweatshirt. The best way to support the stream is press subscribe, follow on the other platforms. I keep every stream free because I think that it's important that we can all come together and there shouldn't be any barrier of a paywall to get information, to spread it and talk about the truth and brainstorm. So that is all that I ask, is that you hit subscribe and like. And I hate even saying that, but it does help the algorithms and all that shit that you got to think about when it comes to, you know, we're a relatively new channel on YouTube after making the switch from TikTok still. So that would really help out. And I would appreciate that. Now, I forgot that I made this. So I started prepping for the show last night, and I've had this clip ready, and I actually used it. There was a similar question that was like, what if you could ask one question about this case and have the truth for it, like who would you ask and why? But Tricks Are for Kids asked a very similar question. And they had asked, what 3 questions would you ask Brian Koberger if you had the chance for an interview? And I have this meme that I made, and it's like, when we all just want answers. And I'll just go ahead and play it because I thought this was hilarious.
We're gonna do good cop, bad cop. Okay? It's the oldest game in the book for a reason. It works.
Hang on, I gotta restart it. 1 second. I gotta turn this up.
We're gonna do good cop, bad cop.
Since you and me, I'm gonna rip you apart.
And I just think that's so funny because I feel like everyone is just done with this. It's just like, if anybody got to ask Brian Koberger questions, it would be like, enough. Just tell us the truth. Are you going to appeal? Are you not going to appeal? What is the truth? Did you do it? Did you not do it? I don't want to hear all this bullshit, because I genuinely feel like that's how it happened. And I made the joke about London out of, respect. That was not a dig at her. I just thought it was funny because I tried to think of another person who is like on the opposite side of the way we believe, but where I could see some common ground where like they dislike Koberger. So I could see it just happening that way. Oh, and like, if I had to think of the questions to ask, I mean, do you guys think you could even stay calm asking a question to Brian Koberger at this point, or anybody in this case? I don't think I could. I don't think I could stay calm. I think I would walk in and it would be like, can you just tell us what the is going on. And I don't think that you'd get a crazy response, but I would want to know. I mean, the obvious questions. Did you do it? Were you the only one? How did you get tangled up in this? Who do you think's framing you? Are you a Fed? Are you working undercover? Are you going to appeal? Are you going into WITSEC? There's a multitude of questions. What would you guys ask? Try to think of like some unique questions or maybe some funnier ones. Lighten the mood here on the yes. See, there's a certain point, and I've said this a couple of times where it's like I could never be a professional interviewer or journalist for a TV organization, because if I asked somebody a question and they gave me like a bullshit, like, well, that's an ongoing investigation, I can't talk about it, I wouldn't be able to handle it. So, right? Birdie, think about this. Everyone worried about the appeal. I'm laughing. Y'all quit stressing about appeal. I'm gonna break it down for you. All right, let's see what you got. What's your Discord name, Brian? Did you eat the DoorDash order? Nice. Thank you, Beth. I appreciate that. How did you ninja style murder with no trace? What constellation were you staring at? What else do we got? I like these. I like the morning chats because, and don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining that the chat moves fast. I know the mods do a good job with slowing it down every now and again, but I do like the morning chats because I can actually read. I can actually read them and click on them. Yeah, are you in on this? That's a great point, Big Red. And Caleb, we will absolutely be diving more into that. When I was editing or starting to edit the stream from last night, I was just mind blown again at how that all just transpired. Sammy thought she heard something. Sammy was just, working through it live with all of us. And then we got to the conclusion of that, and holy shit, maybe it's relevant. It's beautiful. And I did upload that ChatGPT thread to the Discord as well. Did you play beer pong? Ooh, that would be an interesting question. How do you know the victims? Yes, not an NPC. I love that username, but are you the Night King? I can't unsee it either. How did you meet Brent Kopaka? Jesus, UFO dog. YWSU. Well, regardless, I thought that was funny, and I think that. Can I ask the Hive something? And I don't want this to come off wrong, but if Brian Koberger doesn't appeal, let's say this is straight up not going to get Epsteined. I'm trying to think hypothetically here, because I know that not everybody thinks the Epstein or the Epstein would get him into. Sorry, let me slow down. I've said that if he doesn't appeal, he will be Epsteined and then go into WITSEC, or they'll say he's dead or he'll get killed, never to hear about him again. If this was a real case and he was getting railroaded, do you guys think that if he doesn't appeal at this point, it's on him? I don't understand. And I feel that way. I don't understand how this dude, when I say on him, on his entire team, right? I don't understand how you're not appealing. You could obliterate the phone with 2 questions. You could obliterate the car with 4 questions. The DNA is sus with the chain of custody. There is so much reasonable doubt you could drown in it. I heard somebody else say too, well, how do you explain him Googling the crime prior to it happening. And my response was, well, if knowing about the crime, or I'm sorry, Googling the crime before it was announced. And my response was, if knowing about the crime in Moscow that morning prior to it being announced is what makes you guilty, then half of that city would be in handcuffs. I did not see what you said, Ricky. I'm going to scroll up quick, see if I can find it. No Judge Hippler, no Coach Jury. Is that what it was? Yeah, that's exactly right, Brandon. That's the other confusing part. It's the whole case, by their own admission, is weak as hell. I agree. It could be possible that it may take time to get more evidence to prove he's factually innocent. I don't know how much more fact. What evidence would they be waiting on? They don't seem to have found any evidence. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that you're wrong, Tinfoil Hat Claire. I'm just saying I don't know what evidence would they be waiting on. I would find it shocking with how high profile this case was, with the FBI, with Moscow, with the MPD, with the Idaho State Police, with everybody digging into that. I would think any exculpatory evidence that would be allowed to be public would have been out. Right. Oh, yeah. Absolutely, Ricky. Thank you for retyping that. You were waiting for the K-bar boom. Yeah, that's the other thing. That's the other thing too. But you know, this case, does it seem that simple that this is just Brian being railroaded at this point? Because I also think that when somebody's getting railroaded through and through, it's the sealed evidence, it's the redactions and everything, and fighting to keep it a secret, and Brian not talking, the plea deal out of nowhere for like the threats and the safety. While yes, those could be very real. Like I don't know. I don't know. Thank you. Well said, SKB 1022. That is exactly right. And read it and weep, guilters. He doesn't have to prove he's innocent. They have to prove he's guilty. He's so guilty. There's mountains of evidence against him. No, there's mountains of narrative against him. So I digress. Thank you for the question of the day. Tricks are for kids. Moving on to the Hive Mind finds. This first one comes from Native Californian, CCH, and I have not read this article, but it says, killer Brian Koberger went ballistic at female hotel employee months before Idaho college murders. And I did not read this. I just copy and pasted the article. And what I wanted to do was see if this is some more like bait you in headline shit. So let's read, shall we? All right. Brian Koberger pleaded guilty to 2022 murders. This is posted yesterday. Wow. Okay, so this is yesterday. I cannot stand when websites do this shit. I'm not even touching the mouse. All of the ads and pop-ups is insane. Why do they do that? Why is... See, I can't even do this. Does anybody know why that's happening? It's like always on like shitty news sites too. Jesus. Sorry, Hive. Yeah, this is to test my sanity. A female hotel employee may have narrowly avoided being a victim of Brian Koberger. See, it does that. This stupid site. All right. Let's see if this works. A female hotel employee may have narrowly avoided being a victim of Brian Koberger months before he murdered 4 University of Idaho students in November 22. The convicted killer lost his cool at a woman working as a hotel clerk in Pullman, Washington on June 30th, 2022, after booking a room through the travel website Expedia. Koberger had thought the staffer who was in training overcharged him and lashed out at her, a newly released police report revealed. According to legal documents, Koberger stormed the front desk of the hotel and angrily claimed he had been overcharged for his stay. The report claimed Koberger became really upset over the incident, but flipped a switch and turned nice once the employee solved the problem. After she fixed the issue, Koberger allegedly even began flirting with her. Okay. Whether or not this is real, this is just ridiculous. Any normal person, if you walked up to your room after checking in and you saw you were overcharged, you're probably going to go down. Let's say that you're tired as hell. You traveled all day. You're hungry. On top of that, you get to your room. There's no like water bottles in there. You're dying of thirst. Now you got to walk back down. All you want to do is just sit down, go to bed. And now you got to deal with this. And then when they fix it, you realize it's like being hangry. It's like eat a Snickers bar. That's what it is. So the female staffer ran into Koberger again in the hallway when she returned to work the next day and had brief conversation with him. The woman told police the pair talked about sheaths and collecting knives, as well as self-defense weapon and knife collections. Get the fuck out of here. No way. Koberger ultimately left the hotel after their eerie discussion and would later use his knife to brutally stab Forrest. Koberger didn't just own up to the killings. I can't even read this, seriously. Just the weeks before his trial was set to begin, he pleaded guilty to all accounts in an effort to avoid the death penalty. He was later ordered to serve 4 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole for the murders of Ethan Chapin, Kaylee, Xana, and Maddie. When declaring his final sentence last month, Judge Hippler called the murders an unspeakable evil as he expressed hope for the victim's family to find closure once Koberger's locked away for good. Recalling the chilling day of November 13th, 2022, Judge Hippler detailed a faceless coward, yada, 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 yada. Okay, so do they want to show the police report? Has anybody found that police report? So, I don't know. That's weird. I'm going to honestly just forget that we even read that article with the glitchiness, and it makes so I apologize that you all just had to sit through that. Moving on. Now, Care Bear had submitted this on the Discord, and they said, riddle me this, Jack. How can you, on record, say you went to bed at 1:20 a.m. and also still be at the Corner Club at 1:32 a.m.? Kaylee and Madison were out in Moscow hours before their deaths. A leaked surveillance photo was taken from the Corner Club at 1:32. You're absolutely right, Big Red. Just to finish that point up about the other slide that we just left, it's odd. When have you ever seen the media continue to drop these odd stories, continue to just be foaming at the mouth, waiting for a complaint in prison, the footage being leaked? What? It's narrative planting. I agree. And thank you for the super chat. So on record, right, Care Bear's got some stuff highlighted. Got back to their apartment a little after 1 a.m. He said his bedroom was on the main floor. He said he hung out with his friends for 10 to 15 minutes, advised he was drunk. I asked him, estimated on a scale of 1 to 10 how drunk he was, said he would put his level of intoxication at an 8 out of 10, advised he had never experienced memory lapses, had never walked in his sleep, and never acted while asleep, advised he went to bed at approximately 1:20. So yeah, riddle me this. Great find, Care Bear. Now, I have also not seen this. This is back-to-back Hive Mind finds. We've had a couple of those. I think we've only ever had 3 people that have had 2 Hive Mind finds in a stream before. So native Californian CCH, you've now been the 3rd that's added to that list. And I've not watched this yet, but we can watch this together.
And I know I just keep saying it, and I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record. He really was just the quiet kid who just, when he graduated high school, he became when he graduated high school, he became the security guard at the high.
She is shocked. She is shocked. She's like, who vetted this lady? How dare anybody that says that he's just a quiet kid comes on this show?
High school for a little bit there. And he stayed in the town, and that's what a lot of people do in that town is they graduate high school and they stay there. And we just thought he was just
kind of a non-memorable, homogenous kind of nondescript fella.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what his friend Will told us too. I'm telling you, I think Brian's undercover, dude. I think he's in on this shit.
So thinking about who we've come to know, this personality that's just so off-putting, right? We've heard that he would skip or be late to female professors' classes, but not male professors.
Oh my God.
He would dress down female students. He would cause many of them to cry. And he caused professors to meet about him, to say he's going to be a...
Let's listen to that again and let's watch the facial expressions. Also, too, you guys, I want to update on the body language analyst that I was talking to. They had to push it back about a month. However, I've had some folks that are helping me out. We have some really exciting updates, I guess, when it comes to guests. We're going to get a pipeline full of guests to where I'm going to try to have anywhere from like 4 to 5. So like once a week, guests that are in some sort of profession, whether it be, a private investigator, a defense attorney, a prosecutor, somebody who's retired. And we're starting to build up quite a nice list of some really cool names. So just a quick update that, but I want to see how she reacts when Ashley says this.
Homogenous kind of nondescript fella.
Yeah.
So thinking about who we've come to know, this personality that's right. We've heard that he would skip or be late to female professors' classes, but not male professors. He would dress down female students. He would cause many of them to cry. And he caused professors to meet about him, to say he's going to be a danger if we give him a PhD. It just sounds like it's 100% transformation from the kid you went to school with.
It is. That's why it's so shocking to all of us who come from this small town that where did this come from? Where did this come from? And I know that it's so cliche to say, things like this don't happen in these small towns, but it really took us all by storm. The people that I talked to, the circle that I'm in, we were all very, very shocked.
Yeah, Ashley, the people that knew him The people that knew him are shocked. Every single person that knew him is shocked. Outside of the girls that filed reports after the unalivings were done that said he like mansplained to them. And what professors would ever meet and say, this guy's going to be a danger if we give him a PhD? No, actually, a professor said that he was annoyed with Brian Koberger because the professor wanted to get out of work and BK would come and stay for after class hours or office hours, and he wanted to go home or she wanted to go home, whoever it was. That's really what it was.
Did you start thinking about it? Like, did you, when you heard all these details, you know, because clearly you're pretty connected to the story, so you follow the headlines, maybe more than most, right?
Mm-hmm.
But did you start thinking back, what did I miss? Were there red flags? Did you go over your whole map of your mind from high school thinking, where might this have all had its genesis? Like, what was your thought process?
I think at first I remember going through and seeing where he was in high school, saying, because I remember, you know, again, because we all grew up it was such a small town, and he was younger than me, so he was more closer to my sister's age, but Amanda was in my class. It was just so crazy. It really was, like, because it was just so crazy. It was just, I know I just keep repeating myself because it really was just so crazy to see such a big headline and then to see your high school on CNN, because that's really what happened. It was breaking news, and my high school picture, a picture of my high school popped up on CNN, and I was like, what is going on? So it's just.
Did you search your mind like constantly? Like, what did I miss? What did I miss? What did I miss back then?
I think we all did. I think we all at one point said, what could we have all not seen? But none of us missed anything. Obviously, we all missed something.
No, you didn't.
But
none of you, even in all your chat sessions,
Look at how excited she is to keep this going.
Your communications after his arrest, you couldn't come up with anything that made sense.
No, we can't.
Hive. All right, let's hear it. I'll put some up on screen. Thanks for stopping by, Nerd Shirt. Did you search your mind? What up, Latitude? I agree. Lost Girl, so judgmental. You can't. Yeah, she's eating this up like a fat kid who loves cake. It's crazy. Thank you for the super chat, Big Red. Appreciate that. It is crazy to the ones who know him because it's all made up bull honky. Yes, I agree. Yeah, it's just odd. It's odd. And like, after seeing this photo of Brian Koberger and then dude getting in shape, for Dateline to say that he started taking care of himself, he started working out, as if this was like some giant preparation to do the murder versus just a lifestyle change. It's odd because when I say that, people are like, you're defending a murderer. He was clearly prepping. Was he? Or is this some dude who woke up, like many people have, and looked in the mirror and said, I think I could do better. I think that I should challenge myself. I think that I'm going to start eating better. I think I'm going to start moving around more. I think that I'm going to start, taking myself and holding myself accountable. And that's not easy to do. The guy saying it, to have him talk about it that way, it's like, hey, I mean, are you saying that it's for murders because you haven't done that yourself? Are you projecting? Have you not wanted to be the best version of yourself? Like, what are we saying here? Yeah, be careful. If you guys start to notice people that are getting in shape and exercising and they want to eat better, you should probably call the FBI tip line on them, especially if they're vegan. My wife runs, every day. Should I be worried about her? Pause. If she's listening, I don't mean that, Mrs. Birdie. Because I already know she's gonna be like, Bertie, why, babe, why'd you say that? Somebody's gonna probably do it now. Hey, and that's a great point, Discord Don. You wanted to get in law enforcement. I can tell you, and I've never been in this situation, but I can tell you, like, if I think back to like my college days, if I was underage and I was drinking and an out of shape police officer told me to stop and I thought I could run and get away because they're out of shape, I'd probably take my chances back in the day for avoiding an underage. But if I saw like some young jacked cop, I'd probably be like, fuck. Oh my gosh, I want to tell a funny story about this. But I always hesitate because it's gonna derail this. But whatever. I mean, it's a morning stream. I'll tell a really funny story. Do you guys want to hear a story or no? I guess I'll ask the Hive. I won't bore anybody with it. I think it's hilarious about my buddy in an underage college town cop story. Aubrey saying do it. Okay. So I went to like your classic kind of Midwest type schools, like 15,000, kind of country mixed with like athletes who come from like a city or a bigger town. And we had just like one main street of bars. There's probably 4 or 5 that you would rotate around to. And you would walk through all the off-campus college housing to get there. So on Wednesdays, we had all you could drink. It was $5. And they gave you liter cups for $5, right? And then like this is like a liter. Okay. So you think about that. They just fill it up with ice and you would get like Long Islands or whatever. There was like 2 or 3 drinks that you could get. I would do like vodka Rebels. Like I'd wake up with heart palps. Like my whole body would be like twitching in my sleep, like after these. And pretty much what we would do is go to these all you could drinks on Wednesdays, because for football, we had a 48-hour rule where we couldn't drink or go out, and all of like the assistant coaches would go and like police the bars, make sure none of the athletes were out 48 hours before a game. So Wednesday was always like the day that everybody went hard. And we left the bar, me and my roommate at the time, we were walking home and we were with a group of people. And when we were passing these people's house, they went to walk up like their sidewalk to get to their house. And my buddy, he had to pee. So he followed them up the sidewalk, and they had bushes like on a kind of a wraparound porch that were on the, like, it was like a step down porch. So there's bushes on the front of it. And I'm waiting on the sidewalk, probably like 20, 30 yards away. And my buddy goes to pee. And then all of a sudden, like this giant shining spotlight is just on him, like full stance and everything. He's like, oh, what? And I'm like, oh no. And I see 2 cops walking towards him and another cop pulling up in a cop car. And one of the cops walks over to me. Another cop is sitting by his car. But then one of the cops starts walking towards my buddy that's peeing right now. And I was pretty lit up, but he was like lit up. Right as the cop goes to like put his hand on my buddy's shoulder and touch him, it was so obvious that my buddy was going to try to run. Okay. So right as the cop's hand hits his shoulder, he like kind of twitches a little bit, and you can tell the cop's like, oh, is this dude going to run? And then he doesn't even like put himself away, belt undone, pants open, tries to run. Okay. Makes it like 5, 6 steps before his pants start like falling down, trips, falls. He goes down. The cop is running after him. Next thing I know, it turned rather serious. My buddy was like a state champ back in the day, a 4-time state champ. He won every year for wrestling. And it got serious because now I look over, I'm kind of looking at the cop next to me. My buddy double legs this cop, full on, just like boom, down on the ground. And now I'm just like, this is effed. So my buddy's pants are around his thighs, and I can see his bare ass and a double leg on this cop. So the other cop to me now was just like, hang on, stay here. Don't move. Starts running over. Well, it doesn't stop. He tries to get up and continue to run away. And I hear taser, 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 taser. And my buddy gets tased like right in the top of his ass cheek. Okay. So he goes down. Now I'm actually like concerned for him. And I'm kind of starting to like trot over there to tell him, like, dude, you got to like stop. Like, you're going to get in real trouble for this. And so he's laying on the ground and he starts yelling. He's like, fuck. And the other cop that had walked over goes, is it still on? Like, is the taser on? Or like, and George, my buddy, I won't say his name. He goes, no, I'm just really pissed. And like goes quiet. They get him up and he pulls his pants up and he goes and he sits in the side of the cop car. Now, if you can picture the doors open, this is where it just gets out of control. Cause now I'm looking at him and I'm like, I knew you were messed up, but it's like, there's nobody home. Lights are on, nobody's home, just 1,000 yards there. He's sitting at the edge of the cop seat and he goes, the police officer says, all right, can I get your ID? And he goes, I don't have one, which is also crazy because I know he had his ID and I can't remember if this was when he was 21. I'm pretty sure he was 21 because he had to do kindergarten twice. He got held back twice in kindergarten. So he's a little bit older than me. And I know he had his ID, but he said no. And they go, okay. And he's like, so what's your name? And he goes, John. And his name's not John. I can tell you that. He goes, John. And the cop goes, John what? And he goes, John Milan. That is a weatherman. That's like the most popular weatherman in Wisconsin. So he goes, John Milan. And the cops look at each other. They start laughing. They go, you're John Milan? And he goes, my buddy hammered goes, John Milan. And then they started, these cops were wheezing, laughing. They kind of pick his legs up, put him in the cop car, close the door, take him to the drunk tank. And I go home. The next morning I wake up and after class, Jordan, my buddy, is sitting on the couch with his mom. And one of the rules is if you get arrested, you have to go and show the football coach. So the cops said, here's the body cam footage. Essentially, you're gonna have to go show your coach and watch this with him. And my buddy and his mom were watching it on the couch prior to going to meet with the football coach, and his mom's crying. And he's just sitting there. And I walked in right at the point where like he's like, John Milan, and she's just like, Jesus Christ. Like, so anyways, that was probably a longer story than it had to be, but I digress. All right. How do I come back from that now? Yeah, I bet they do too. I bet they do too. And he ended up having to like sit out. I don't remember how long it was, but the punishment whenever you got caught like that, you had to do what did we call it? It was 100-yard bear crawl. So end zone to end zone bear crawl, 100-yard back pedal, 100-yard sprint, and then you had to lay down and like fireman roll 100 yards, which is, if like people puke a lot when they would do that, which kind of actually fucked up. But thank you, Chappie Boss. I met Ashley in 2015 at a community college shootings. Oh shit. She wanted my thoughts based on her narrative. Needless to say, I wouldn't bite. Oh, really? You turned her down? That's interesting. So, okay. What I want to get into is, does the knife sheath exist? Okay. And it probably took me a little bit longer to get to this point, so I apologize. But I want to start with, okay, this is the car. This is the picture that was taken with a potato, damn near. And this is what they identified the car as. We know that their expert, meaning the states, was not comfortable with the date range that they had. We also know that the WSU police they'd seen Brian Koberger's car, but they didn't report it because it didn't match the description. Only after they widened the range, did they say that this was Brian Koberger's car. But I want people to understand that People take plea deals all the time, whether they're guilty or not. Hate it or love it, this is America where you have to be proven guilty. What makes no sense about this and what makes people's red flags go off is that there is so much reasonable doubt of a jury to convict this man. And it's so hard for people to take the narrative out of it when in reality, you could destroy any reasonable doubt or what's the term I'm looking for? You could prove that he's essentially factually innocent very easily, okay? From the prosecutor's own words himself, even more so with an appeal. Because now, when you put them on the stand, you could just play their interviews to remind them if they start saying they can't recall. Does anybody see how many people are in this car? No. Can you tell me clearly what kind of car this is? I would be shocked if you asked 100 people that have never seen this photo. Okay. They're not a car, like even car experts, if they've never seen this, how many people do you think would guess a white Elantra out of 100? There probably be some, but I mean, is it like overwhelmingly obvious in Elantra? And there's no bug guard. And even this, what's hilarious is that there's almost more evidence that this is the off-duty undercover unit that was, or the plainclothes officers driving around patrolling. At no point can you clearly see a car on this camera, nor on this camera. That's a white Elantra, at least. So right there, can you picture yourself with a jury? How would you get them to not have doubt that this is 100% Brian Koberger's car? How do you expect that? I don't see a reasonable, fair jury, along with other circumstantial evidence, saying that that is clearly Brian Koberger's car. These cars look different. They look different. There's tinted windows. You could, like, that's what's so mind-boggling. You could destroy this legally. And where are the other attorneys? This is easy. We need to start a law firm, Hive. The Hive law firm. What we do is we dial in. We do everything via video feed, and our live chat makes the arguments to defend wrongfully convicted people. It would either be the worst thing or the best thing, depending on how much people actually take us up on that offer. We work for free, and we pretty much, and also the jury, they get to see the chat. The jury gets to see the chat as well. So in addition to that, and I have some notes here. So we have the car evidence. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull this up because I wrote this yesterday. I'm going to pull this up and I want to show you guys this, because this will help us go through it. Okay. So this is what I was ranting about. Let's walk through this together. Okay. The trace DNA on the sheath that we've never seen pictures of. How have we not seen the sheath? They've plastered a car out there that there's reasonable doubt that it is his car. So the smoking gun of the DNA, why have we never seen the sheath then? The car's not a smoking gun. That actually made people question it more. So the sheath, instead of just showing the Amazon thumbnail picture from the most popular K-bar they sell, why not show us the sheath that is found? Why was it not there on the first walkthrough? Why are you fighting the unredacted body cam footage? Fine, you could blur out the victims, blur out the gore, blur that out, but you blacked out the entire room. And also, I would say this too. It's, if you listen to that hearing yesterday on whether or not they're going to redact it, they chalked it up to conspiracy theories online. No, this guy can't even believe himself. He's like, we've had 1,100, 1,200 requests, and I don't know why, but that's what it is. And it's law. It's a law. Well, isn't that a red flag if you're hearing that as a judge, Judge Marshall? Isn't that a red flag that this guy's going, I've never seen anything like this? So, anyways, this is how easy. What I tried to do is show people how easy this is for the DNA on the sheath. So the FBI broke their own guidelines to test it. Chain of custody doesn't exist, and this is supposed to be the slam dunk. So the cross-examination would be defense. Agent, did you find his blood at the scene? No. Any prints? No. How about hair? No. So all you've got is a microscopic speck from a trash can that you matched from across the country. Yes. And I said, that is clown world level evidence from a CSI episode for normies that are too dumb to know better. There's no way, like, I don't think it would be that hard. He turned his phone off. Wow. And I said, congrats. So does your grandma when Candy Crush freezes. This is important. Cell tower data isn't GPS. I would be curious how many people understand that. Cell tower data is not GPS. And that's exactly right, Miss Anonymous. They didn't find his blood, but they found 3 other males' DNA there. Top dog comment. Great point. So it's junk science with better branding. Even the investigators admitted it doesn't put him in the house, but the NPCs lap it up anyways. So, investigator, are there reasons to turn a phone off besides murder? Yes. Battery dying, no service, spam calls, all true. Yes. So a phone being off proves nothing related to murder. Correct. That's it. That's the entire phone evidence, and it's obliterated in 2 fucking questions. This is how court works. This is how a trial works, everybody. Not how Dateline, Amazon, and James Patterson convict somebody. No, this is the legal system. The justice system is supposed to work. So the prosecutors have literally admitted they have no effing clue why he would do this. They have no motive. They have no link. They have no communication. They have no stalking. They have nothing. The content they found on his devices, it's exactly what every criminology student would look at. So the attorney would say, detective, do you have any proof my client ever contacted the victims? No. Proof he even knew them? No. So you have no motive whatsoever. Correct. This is not evidence. It's tabloid fan fiction for people with room temperature IQ. And she's just a devil woman. I want to make a comment on that. Do you realize how they can say, we knew exactly how he turned it off, and somebody goes, but he turned his phone off with 100% power. That's guilty. He killed those 4 kids. It had 100% power. Okay, give me a break. I also want to know, and if you guys remember, I've read a comment on stream. Phone companies aren't going to track every single time a phone powers down and powers off. Do you know how absurd the storage would be just for that stat alone? We've read a comment that I forget who said it. It was a long one. It was a really long comment. It talked about how, like, that's just not how it works. And shame on the people that are in the industry, because everybody in the industry that understands this knows that's not how it works. But all of these people that don't understand the industry, they take it at face value. Then you got the Jason Bourne NPC fantasy. Okay. Brian is autistic. He has visual snow. He has dexterity issues. And the state wants you to believe he went full Jason Bourne. 4 murders, multiple victims fought back, all done in minutes. He didn't have any scratches. There was no blood, no DNA transfer, no prints, no hair, no blood in the car. And if you had a doctor come up and testify, it would go, doctor, are you testifying that a man with impaired vision flawlessly executed 4 murders in a house he is unfamiliar with in under 20 minutes? I can't say that. Would you agree his conditions make complex tasks harder? Yes. So you're asking this jury to believe he carried out a pro-level hit on 4 victims within minutes without leaving a trace. That is not reality. It's Hollywood bullshit. And on top of that, the evidence fridge just happened to break. Chain of custody's gone. It's always a coincidence. It's always against the defense. Detective, the refrigerator storing evidence failed, correct? Yes. And the samples spoiled? Yes. So potentially exculpatory evidence is gone forever? Correct. If this was a movie script, you'd call it lazy. But in Idaho, it's just Tuesday. I already have said this. The car photo that's taken with a potato, blurry picture of a car, no license plate, no visible driver, no photos of Brian in it, no photos of him at the scene, just a grainy blob the state swore was airtight proof. Officer, can you identify the driver? No. Can you confirm the license plate? No. So all you have is a blurry blob you think is my client's car? Yes. That's the equivalent of seeing Bigfoot, but you have a badge. Then you have the body cam timestamps that are off by an hour, 7 minutes, and 26 seconds. That's not an oops. That's not 5 seconds off. That is your timeline imploding. Officer, your body cam is off by over an hour? Yes. So your sequence of events doesn't match reality? Correct. That's not an error. That is timeline suicide. Then you have the teacher's pets turned crybabies, as we just also had reiterated by Banfield. It's the cherry on top, the character evidence. The character evidence. A handful of college girls that didn't like their TA filed police reports because ultimately he corrected them in class. Mansplaining now equals mass murder. Detective, the reports say he corrected them in class? Yes. So your case rests on hurt feelings in a lecture hall? Yes. That is not evidence. It's seen out of Mean Girls with hurt egos. So there's no chain of custody for the DNA. The phone is worthless. There's no motive. Forensics, there's literally nothing. And the evidence spoiled in the fridge. Photos are blurry. The timeline's manipulated. Character evidence is laughable. This is not a trial. It's a clown show. And I'm not going to read the rant because it's pretty intense. But pretty much this. The truth doesn't give a single F about your feelings. You can laugh now. You can roll your eyes now because when this blows up, it's going to be nuclear. And not one of you narrative slurping clowns will know what hit you. This is not about Brian Koberger. He's just proof of how rotten this whole circus really is. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So this is from my Substack I put out yesterday, but I figured it'd be easier to just go over those notes than continue to sit back and talk about that. But my question, and talking about the Sheath, I think our answer is rather obvious, Hive. Look at what I just laid out right there. If the DNA on the Sheath is so sus, if the car is so sus, if the timeline's manipulated, if the character evidence is clown world, if the alt perps were shut down, if everything is sealed and redacted, if none of this makes sense, if the body cam footage and all the crime scene photos seem to be handpicked and selected and not let you see anything, why wouldn't the Sheath, their smoking gun, follow that same pattern? Type a 1 if you think the Sheath is fake and it's a hoax and it doesn't exist. Exactly, Discord Dawn. And that, to me, is logical reasoning. That's the other thing, too, is I don't think anything that I just said is a conspiracy theory. It's going to sound that way to people who actually have no idea, and they think that watching a Dateline documentary makes them an expert. They think that watching Amazon makes them an expert. They think that reading James Patterson's narrative book is an expert. It makes you an expert. No. I would be curious. And it's very obvious. That's why it's like you can't even play into it. You can't even play into it anymore. There's such a disconnect. When you ask people, have you read the documents? You would think there'd be a mountain of docs pointing to Koberger. Real behavior that showed he was planning this. By the way, can somebody please clear up when people say the Amazon bought or the K-Bar was bought on Amazon? Does anybody else feel just confused about that entire thing? Did he buy a knife on Amazon? Did he buy a K-bar? Is that confirmed? Did he buy the jumpsuit? Did he do all this? Because it's hard to keep everything straight in your mind. And also, the K-bar that they said, or at least the style that they would show us, K-bars are like the most common knife. So they don't have a motive. They don't have a connection to the victims. They can't put him in the house. They don't have a murder weapon. We've never seen the sheath. The DNA comes from his dad's Q-tip 2,000 miles away. His car wasn't the car they were originally looking for. He was one of 2 students to get a recommendation for being a student to go on behalf of this professor who is a extremely renowned professor. The professors over at WSU really just got annoyed with him that Brian wanted to stay after and talk about criminology shit. They said his text message was creepy to that girl in Dateline, which he just said, I enjoy the activity of hiking. It was formal. Like I've always said, what if he would have said, like, damn, your ass was looking great in that thong bikini? Then everybody would lose their mind if he said that. But the guy goes, I enjoy the activity of hiking. This dude can't win. He can't win. It's character assassination. I'm telling you right now, Hive, if he does not appeal, they are going to Epstein him under a year. So Hive, I hope so let me say a couple of things quick. Do you guys like the morning lives on, I know it's not Saturday. Usually I do it Saturday. I kind of like it feels like kind of a little bit more intimate with the chat. I want to make sure that I never, stop doing that. I know sometimes when we do the 7 p.m. streams, we have a ton of people in here. The chat moves fast. But I personally really enjoy this. I feel like I don't know. It's more of like the Hive Mind where, don't get me wrong, I love the 7 p.m. chats. I think that that's great for like spreading the news, having awesome guests on, bombshell type stuff. But I do think that the mornings, I can actually read the chats. They're not just flying by. So I will continue to do those on Saturdays. I just don't have service where I'm going this weekend. So coffee with Birdie. I love it. I love it. Hive and Now, aka Kathy NC. And do you guys like 9 a.m.? I actually thought about even doing it a little bit earlier, but I feel like because 9 a.m. is 10 Eastern, I try to think of all time zones, but 9 works really good for my schedule. I like it because, like I said, I can put the chats up, and I'll continue to do those on Saturdays. More South Africa Hive members. Welcome, Liz. Thank you for tuning in. First live. Welcome to the Hive. So what I'm going to do is Sunday evening at 7 p.m., normal stream, I will upload the live from last night with Sammy this afternoon. And then I'll do a quick cut version of this live tomorrow morning. But then Saturday or tomorrow, what I'm going to do now after I get done streaming is I'm going to do a giant collection of all of the Hive Mind finds that I've had. And I'll do like a premiere thing tomorrow. Or I don't know if I'll do a premiere. Maybe I'll just post it. But I want to make sure, again, because there's so many good Hive Mind finds and I can usually only fit 2 or 3 on stream. So would you guys like once a month that any of the Hive Mind finds that haven't made it on stream, that's a regular video that I do? Because that'll be something similar to like the roundtable then, where we do the roundtable once a month, but I can go and take everything from the Discord. And the other thing, the reason why I want to do that is because I have a plethora of Hive Mind finds from my email that I'm not using anymore. And I don't want those to just go to waste. So I'll be able to chip away at that inbox. Okay, cool. Because I love the Hive Mind finds. They're super interesting. I also love when people share their stories and how much they look forward to the Hive. So I'm always thrilled to see those emails. But please join the Discord. And if nothing else, even if you're not going to like use the Facebook or the Instagram, at least go tap that follow button. Like I said, all streams are free. I just ask that you support the Hive, spread the word. And I will be back live Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Central. I have Lana from Truth and Transparency coming on Tuesday. We're going to be doing a live dig. Don't miss that. We have some wild shit. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say what she was kind of teasing to me as far as what she's got that nobody's seen before. So unless she chooses to break that before Tuesday, that could be wild. So I hope she doesn't. And I hope if she's watching, she saves it till Tuesday. So I hope you all have a safe, fun Labor Day weekend. Relax, spend some time with family and friends. Get a driver if you need one, everybody. And with that, Hive, I will see you Sunday evening live. Cheers.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.